Hi, Raven here. Just before we get started, if you find this video useful or you just enjoyed watching, then please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. And if you wish to support me further, there's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page in the description. Thanks very much. One last thing, you can now make requests in my Discord channel. There's a link for it on this YouTube channel. Now back to it. A while back I did a tutorial on how to fire a trigger when a building was destroyed, and since then I've had two specific requests that are related to that. The first one is how to detect gunfire damage to any one building within an area of multiple buildings. Now I know why they would want to do that. That lends itself to a Hearts and Minds mission, whereby you wouldn't want your squad to damage the locals' homes or livelihoods. So it's a good idea. I do think they're going to struggle with it because there doesn't take much gunfire before it triggers, which is what they wanted, but I have done a contingency just in case they find it too much, which I'll go through in a sec. The other request was once a building's blown up, they then have a time limit to blow up a second building, otherwise an alarm will sound. So I'll go through that after this one. So what I've got here is 4 buildings within an area, and ignore the trigger, that's just to mark the area so you can see it visually, but we're using a marker in the middle. So these are placed buildings, but it also works with terrain buildings. So what I'll do is I'll show you it working and I'll show you the contingency afterwards. So let's get in the gunner and I'll just shoot the house. There you go, see up the top there, collateral damage unacceptable, mission failed. So actually what we'll do is we will restart, and I will use Zeus. I'll just go over here and show you what I've done. So I was going to use as the contingency plan sort of visual damage. So you can see when I shot it with the gun, there was no visual damage apart from when the windows popped, but that was it. But if you don't hit any windows, there's no visual damage. So based on that, what I've got here is damage from 0 to 1 in 0.1 increments. So if we go no damage, and it's exactly the same no matter what the building is. So we've got a stone building here, and we've got a little wooden sort of shed here, and the damage is the same for each. So 0 damage, 0.1 damage, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and you see 0.6, you can actually now visually see the damage. So 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 and 0.9, they all look the same. It's only when you get to completely damaged it looks like this. So if we look at this one at the back here, I set this one at 0.51. You can see it's the same as 0.6. So that means that anything over 0.5, it will look like this. So based on that, I then set up the contingency to detect anything over 0.5 damage. So then you'll visually be able to see that you've messed up. Okay, so if I come out of Zeus. So now if I shoot this first. Oh no, what I need to do actually, come out here. I need to change the init file. So let's get the init file up and running. So obviously I've got the 3 different options in here. So what I'm just going to do is switch that off, and then I'll switch on the 50 like so. Obviously I'll go through the SQF files in a minute. I'm just going to show you it working first. Now if we play, get in the gunner, I shoot it, it says no visual damage. So what I'm going to do now is put a C4 down, just near it, because if I put a C4 on it, it's going to completely destroy the building. So if I just put one down near it, that should do over half damage on it. There you go, you can visually see it now, and collateral damage unacceptable. Mission failed. So there you go, so that gives you a contingency. So obviously the houses will take sort of gunfire, but any sort of if you're chucking grenades about and using heavy explosives, then you'll start to see it. So you've got 2 choices there, and now we will cover the alarm. So we've got over here, I'll just move the player. So what I've got over here is 2 buildings. Again, it works with placed buildings or terrain buildings. I've got 2 game logics, and they are just ID in the building, so H1, H2. This way it works with terrain buildings. You can use the same method. What I've got down here is 3 triggers. This trigger destroys that building, that trigger destroys that building, and that trigger destroys both buildings at the same time. Just so they've got the options, because they might set the charges on both and blow both at the same time, or they might blow up one and then run to the other, and you need to sort of compensate for all of that. So again, go back to the init, and I'm going to turn that one off and turn that one on, and I'll show you it working now. So I'll do 3 different ones. I'll do I'll let it fail, I'll blow one up, let it fail, so you can see the alarm going off, and then I'll blow one up and then the other one up, and then I'll blow both of them up. Okay, so let's blow one up, and there we've got our timer in the top right corner there. So we've got 26 seconds to blow the other one up, but we're not gonna, we're just gonna wait for it to time out. It's gonna be the longest 15 seconds. Five. And then we got on the bottom left, mission failed. The siren's going off, and I've just done it so that it fails the mission. So if we restart it, now if I blow one up, timer started, we'll blow the other one up, timer's stopped, and our bottom left there, mission complete. Buildings destroyed separately but within the time limit. Obviously I've just done the system chat as the what happens, but you can fire a trigger or end the mission, or do your next objective, whatever you want to do. And just quickly blow both of them up. Again, bottom left, mission complete, building destroyed simultaneously, but no timers come up because obviously we blew them up at the same time. So there you go, that's it working. And what we'll do now is we will go through how the scripts work. Right, so we're in the mission folder. We've got images and sounds folders. I'm not going to go through that. The images are just those signs that display the damage values. Sounds is just the alarm. Description ext, I'm not going to go through that. That is just the custom end emissions, which I'll cover in another video. So if we open up the init, there's just the three options there: the 0 damage, half damage, and the alarm. So whatever one you want, just delete the rest or shut it off like I have there. Close that. So let's go through the damage detection. Open up the 0. And what we've got here is the marker. So this is what we have to put in game. So I've called the marker damage detection area. And area size 50. So let's go back to the game. So if we look at the markers, Eclipse here, if we open that up, you can see I've called it damage detection area. Now to work out your area, that's what I used the trigger for. I just put down the trigger, saw what size it was, so let's go to trigger. So 35, so 50's plenty. To put the marker down, if we go to markers, areas, Eclipse, place it down, and you see it's got this sort of grey circle. Click on it and do 0, 0, call it what we've called it in the SQF file, and OK, because if you don't do that, you'll see that grey circle in your map when you're in game. So this just makes it invisible, but we're using it as a part of the SQF file. So that's it. So let's go back to the SQF. So the only bits you need to change is whatever you call the area size, and then down here this line is just what happens when the building is damaged. So I just put a hint and then ended the mission there. So obviously if you don't want to do that and you want it to do something else, like just complete a task or fail a task, then you just replace whatever you want to do in this bit here. You don't have to delete it, you can just again turn it off by doing that. So that won't end the mission now, and that won't send the hint. So if we open up the damage 50, and again just change this bit here depending on what you call your area marker, your area size. This is the 0.5, the damage value, so anything over 0.5 will trigger, and then again this is what will happen once it's triggered. So put in here whatever you want to happen. If we open up the alarm countdown, so the only thing you need to change in here is the time if you want. So if you want more than 30 seconds, change it to whatever you want in seconds. Close that, and we open up the alarm destruction detection SQF file. So in here there's the two buildings, so I've got H1 and H2. So this is what we've called the game logics. So if we go back to the mission again and we have a look over here, so I've put these game logics, so H1 and H2, so that just references that building and that one references that building. This is so you can use it on the terrain buildings. You will need a game logic. If we go back to the SQF file, if you're placing the buildings down you want to destroy, then you don't need the game logics. So that's why I've got these two here. So if you're placing buildings, you can just call the building H1 and H2 and turn these two on and turn these two off. And the other thing you want to change is the time. So whatever time you want it to be between blowing the buildings up, you want to change that as well as the other countdown. The other thing you want to change, or you might want to change, is what happens at the 3 different stages. So we've got here mission complete when building's destroyed simultaneously. So anywhere where there's a system chat, that's what you want to replace with whatever you want to happen, or leave it as it is. And then we've got this one here, mission complete, buildings destroyed separately but within the same time limit. So that one and that one, you might just want the same thing to happen, but you need to put it in. And then what happens if it fails. So I've got down here the system chat, it says mission failed, and then the alarm goes off and the mission ends. So if you don't want any of these things, or you want something else, so again, turn them off and add in what you need to. So that's it. What I'll do is, as usual, I'll put this whole mission in my Dropbox. You download the mission, have a play with them all, turn them on and off to play with the different ones, and then hopefully you'll be able to drag that into your mission and sort it out from there. Okay, hope that was helpful. Good luck.